Well, here we are at the Hilton, and they've been nice enough to let us use part of their restaurant area to do a video talk with Dan Cohen, who's one of the leading candidates for mayor of Minneapolis, Captain Jack Sparrow, who has been one of the more colorful candidates, but who we find, and you'll see, has a lot of serious things to say. My name is BobAgain, Carney Jr., and my political principle is demand transit revolution, and that's going to be the main topic. We're going to show you a map, and we're going to be talking about some of these graphics. The graphics will be put on screen as we proceed. But the main idea behind this transit revolution is to radically improve the service that we have for transit in the Twin Cities as a model, and this is something that can be extended worldwide. It can be the foundation of a business that will be started and based in Minneapolis. The idea is, and we'll have the graphic up for these routes, to have 5-minute service on the bus routes that are in this plan for Minneapolis, meaning you don't wait more than 5 minutes for your ride to show up. And the way that we do that is to use smaller vehicles. We're going to be using primarily Metro Mobility size buses. They have 24 passengers plus one wheelchair. And it costs $70,000 roughly to buy one of those compared to $280,000 for a standard big city bus. So that's the first step. The second is that this is a jobs program. This will provide 3,400 part-time jobs paying $15 an hour, and as a result, that money is going to get spent here in Minneapolis. So this is a way to put people to work doing useful things. We're going to pay for this with a utility billing model, meaning that you're not going to have to pay to get on the bus. Everybody will get a go-kart, and we'll be paying a monthly fee. And there's one other thing, and Dan, this is going to tie in with what you've been talking about on the Viking Stadium. This will not start unless it's approved by a voter referendum.
Right.
And that's a key point. Now, what I'm particularly grateful for is that you're supporting this, and as mayor, that you would work with me and others to launch this transit revolution so that we can have a radical improvement in transit, and this will be of benefit both to people in Minneapolis and also, again, the foundation of a business that can be a worldwide business. So what is your reaction to what we're talking about here?
I'm so enamored of this and impressed by your work here that I have made this part of my campaign at this point, and I have pointed out that Bob's ideas go a long way to the solution of what is constantly being raised by other interests as being the need to solve our transit problems. The Minneapolis Star Tribune has said 85% of our transit is being solved by buses. The mayor of Minneapolis currently says 90% is being solved by buses. The 5-minute schedule, which is the key to this, is he has found exactly the right city to launch it, because there's one thing that nobody around here particularly enjoys. That's standing out in 0-degree weather, waiting 20 minutes for a bus. This means that you can go out there, don't have to pre-schedule or pre-design when you are going to have to be out there. You can go out there anytime and you're going to catch a bus within 5 minutes. And that means a lot. And it also means buses that are maneuverable in neighborhoods, not these big behemoths which just go down the major streets, but go into neighborhood streets, so it's going to be less of a walk to get to the bus. The whole idea works, and I'm behind it 100%.
A couple of features on this. First of all, in terms of the Twin Cities, we're going to be concentrating on the area that has the densest population, and that's the area from downtown Minneapolis, and on the east it's the Mississippi River, and on the west it's the lakes. It's open to the south. And this is a large area that has a very dense population, so this is going to be the area where we're going to have most of the routes, most extended time service. That will be 18 hours a day. Other areas are going to have the same 5-minute service, but not as many hours. This is a little bit closer view of this central area that's going to feature the extended hours and the 5-minute service. And we're also going to have freeway routes. So you'll be able to go from 49th Street North on the I-94, down through downtown and through 35W and out to 66th Street. This will also link up with the University of Minnesota via 94. And in addition, the northeast Minneapolis area is going to be served by 35W. In addition, we're going to have extended hours in North Minneapolis and Northeast Minneapolis. These are areas that have higher concentrations of poverty. People are more dependent on transit, and as a result, we're going to have 18-hour service in North Minneapolis and also Northeast Minneapolis. Taking a little bit more of a look at poverty, this map shows the 7-county area and the concentration of poverty. And the areas of 20% and more poverty are almost exclusively in Minneapolis and St. Paul, primarily in North Minneapolis, and also near central south side. So these are the areas where we're going to have the most extensive service for the transit revolution. This shows a highlight of the poverty concentration, and again, it's primarily North Minneapolis and the near south side. That's where we're going to concentrate the most extensive service for the transit revolution. This is a question of economic justice. We need to have a system that will provide a way for people to get around where they can reach a much larger jobs market than they can right now. And the problem is that with the current level of bus service, it's just not fast enough to do that. And we've got another thing looking forward, and this is a plan for freeway routes that are going to go inside the 494, 694 beltway. The initial plan is to concentrate on the area west of the Mississippi. We've got a series of over 120 locations here where you can get 5-minute service on freeways. And one of the points we have to keep in mind, of course, is that with a cloverleaf design right now, you can't transfer from one bus to another on a cloverleaf. Well, I've got a patent I'm going to be filing for a new design for a retrofitted cloverleaf that allows you to transfer. This may make it unnecessary to have the Southwest line. We're going to be taking a look at that as a potential option. One of the concerns that we've had about is the Southwest line is the very large expense and the potential problems that would cause for the neighborhood. You want to comment on that?
Well, this is a matter of first impression with me, but this is a very, very exciting new idea, and I want to hear it out and have it as input into this 90-day hiatus we're going through now to consider alternative solutions to the Southwest situation. And Bob, I think you've got something here that I think that these groups that are considering Southwest have got to hear about this, because this is new and it may be a real answer to this situation.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Both Captain Jack and I are going to be voting for Dan. I am delighted that you have taken a grip on this thing and are advancing it. And the key point is this 5-minute service.
Right.
And I call that a transit time tax. We can't have a situation where people have to wait 10 and 15, 20 minutes, especially if you miss a transfer and you have a half-hour service between buses. That's what drives people away from transit. We had 3 times as many riders in the Twin Cities in 1920 on our streetcar system than we do today in the entire MTC, the entire Metro Transit. And we have an infrastructure, a system of routes that worked then and it can work now if we get back to a service level that'll make people want to move from cars to transit. Now, another issue on this thing is global warming. And Captain Jack and I talked about that quite a bit. Do you want to comment on that?
I do, but before I get to global warming, I want to talk about the mentioned economic justice. And of course, I was a founder of an organization called People United for Economic Justice back in the late 1980s, which changed its name out of poverty in the early 90s. So I've been interested in the issue of economic justice for a long time. And I think this is one of the main things that can really solve the problems of poverty in Minneapolis, also people in the suburbs, because many of the jobs are in the suburbs, and some people travel from the suburbs to Minneapolis, of course, too. So this is one of the main barriers to good employment is the issue of transportation. This is going to go a long ways to solve that problem. As a matter of fact, it will solve the problem. And Bob mentioned global warming. That's the 2 main planks on my platform for mayor are the issue of bringing it into poverty and doing what we can about global warming. I think that's the most pressing problem facing our planet right now. And 50% of the pollution in the inner city is caused by cars, trucks, and buses. Now we're still going to have combustion engines here to start with, but Bob's plan here, as I understand, is to transition into electric vehicles when they become affordable. But even before that time, this would be a huge, result huge drops in carbon emissions, and so I think it's going to go a long way to solving the main problem in the world, which is global warming. And as Bob mentioned, this isn't just a plan for Minneapolis; it can be expanded to St. Paul, so it can be expanded to the country and to the whole world, for that matter. This is a tremendous idea that we really want to get behind. We can waste no time in bringing our carbon emissions down and solving the problems of global warming.
Our political system in America is designed from the ground up to make it possible to have peaceful and revolutionary change. And this is what I'm pushing for with the transit revolution. I have a detailed 150-page ebook on my website, my campaign site, which is www.BobAgain.com. That's BobAgain.com. You can download it. It's a PDF file, about 5 meg, and I encourage you to do so. We've got some concluding remarks we want to make now, and so we're going to start with Dan, and then proceed.
Let me say this. I am deeply moved as a person, not just as a politician, but as a person, to have your support, Jack, and to have your support, Bob. For you to do this on my behalf is simply something that I find to be a very heartwarming and exciting move on your part. I'm very flattered by it. I think you both have made a tremendous contribution to this Sparrow campaign. I think you've done that with the minimum expenditure, but by calling attention to your concerns. They are real concerns with real solutions. And it means a lot to me, and it'll mean a lot to the city as we move ahead with these ideas. It's really more than I can say to say how flattered I am to have both of you with your help. And I think your ideas are excellent. I want to expand a little on some of the things that Jack has said during the course of this campaign. He has talked about making every vote count. And I think what that means is we shouldn't discriminate against candidates because they're not spending a lot of money or because some arbitrary force somewhere has decided that this candidate is worthy of attention and this candidate isn't. And I think what Captain Jack has done is called attention to that enough, to that discrimination that's out there, because that's not right. And he has managed to get attention, not just for having some unusual appearances once in a while with an unusual outfit, colorful outfit. I think that's fine, and that's a lot of fun, and adds an element of fun to this campaign. But he's done it with the quality of his ideas, and these are ideas that I think count. They contribute greatly to the advancement of this community's concerns, and I am proud and flattered to have the support of these two gentlemen, because I think they're doing a lot for our city, and God bless them, and let's move forward and make it happen.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I wanted to say that through your involvement with the Mayoral Council and other things, I've got to know you, and you become a friend, a real true friend outside of politics.
Right.
But I want to say that the reason I'm supporting you and voting for you and voting for Bob Carney too is because, not because I'm your friend, not for you, but for the citizens of Minneapolis. The citizens of Minneapolis really need the ideas you're offering, the downtown casino, to provide jobs, to keep money in Minneapolis. They tremendously need Bob Carney's idea here of transit revolution. So I'm supporting both of you, not for because I'm both very dear friends of mine, but I'm supporting you because I care about the citizens of Minneapolis and we're offering solutions to some of the main problems that they have.
I can't thank you enough, and it means a lot to me, and it'll mean a lot to the city. Thank you, sir.
I'm BobAgain Carney Jr., and I approve this message.